Baten Kaitos. This is a series that I haven't stopped hearing about after its initial release on the Gamecube all the way back in 2003. More specifically, it's the card system that people have not stopped raving about. I've personally never had the opportunity to experience these games, which is why I jumped at the chance to play the recent HD releases on Switch that contains both Baten Kaitos 1 and 2. Now, I've got a feeling that this remaster may have flown under the radar for many people, so hopefully this review will help you decide if this game is for you or not. This video is also just going to focus on the first game in the series, titled Baten Kaitos, Eternal Wings and the Lost Ocean. Before we get into the review, if you liked this video, it would help me out a lot to hit that like button and sub for more RPG content coming soon, and hit that super thanks if you'd like to support the channel. I would also like to thank Bandai Namco for the review code, and all footage that you see is from the Switch version of the game. And let me know what you thought of this game, either now or back in the day, and how does it compare to the sequel, Baten Kaitos Origins? Let me know if I should play and review it in the future. Alright, let's get into it. The first thing that I noticed about Baten Kaitos is that it looks beautiful. The environments still hold up today, and now they look even better than they ever have. Many of the towns and dungeons look like you're walking into a painting, such as this town, which is literally made of candy. The character designs are also very unique, especially the portrait art that presents a style very different to what we'd usually see in a JRPG. Some characters also have absolutely no dress sense whatsoever, while other certain shopkeepers look like mass serial killers that want to murder you in your sleep. But hey, this all adds to the style and charm of Baten Kaitos, and I was all for it. Performance-wise, there were some very noticeable frame rate drops and occasionally some lag when entering the deck building screen. Then there's the music, which was composed by industry legend Motoi Sakuraba. The soundtrack is really great, with countless tracks perfect for the mood of the moment, but this comes to no surprise. Something that was surprising, however, is that the English dubs from the original game were completely removed, leaving only the Japanese voices. Now, this English dub wasn't exactly well received, but it would have been nice to have the option. The game's producers stated that they were removed due to discrepancies in adjusting the expressions to match the current era. Nope, I am not a fan of this choice or the reasoning. The other additions to the remaster includes features that help aid the progression of the game, such as being able to turn off encounters and increasing the game's speed. These additions were absolutely crucial, as Baten Kaitos is a very slow, grindy game, and without them I would not have enjoyed my experience even nearly as much as I did, but more on this later. Baten Kaitos is set within the floating continents. In the distant past, humanity were forced to migrate here from the uninhabitable toxic surface of the world. The game begins with the lead character, Kellis, out on a journey for revenge. His goal is to avenge the death of his grandfather and younger brother Fi, who were killed by members of the Empire. He soon teams up with Zella, and they discover of the Empire's plot to obtain all of the Magnus to revive the ancient god of destruction. While the main character of the game is Kellis, you play the role of you. This is a really interesting dynamic, and I've never seen anything like it before. You are a guardian spirit, which are beings that watch over the spiriters, who in this case is Kellis. Kellis has the power to hear you and talk to you, and will often directly look at the camera to ask your advice. You often have the choice of a couple of options, but they in no way change the outcome of the narrative, since Kellis usually just does whatever the hell he wants to do. However, he will like certain choices more, which leads to more chance of getting super powerful spirit attack cards in battle. While the main story does have some good moments with some decent twists and turns and a solid cast of characters, it did take me quite a while to warm up to it. There is a really good quantity of well-voiced scenes, in Japanese of course, but I did feel that the uncinematic style of story delivery did let the storytelling down at times. What I mean is that a large majority of the key scenes are presented from the same angle with the same long shot size. Maybe the intention here was to view the events from the Guardian Spirit's point of view, but I wasn't really a fan of this. A huge aspect of the world and the game mechanics is using Magnus. These are cards that can absorb the essence of just about anything. Food, items, weapons, armor, you name it, it can be absorbed into the card. These Magnus cards play a huge role in solving the many problems in the world. For instance, if there's a fallen tree blocking your path, you could find a fireplace to absorb the fire's essence and then use the essence to burn the tree. Capturing specific essences and using them in the right place is also how most of the side quests can be completed. There are many side quests to discover, and actually initiating them is so old school, which I loved. There is no quest markers or quest journals. Instead, you'll have to talk to all of the NPCs if you want to activate them yourself. This was a very refreshing change from the hand-holding that we get with many modern side quests. I'm also pretty sure that I didn't complete the majority of these side quests, as finding a specific Magnus hidden in the world and remembering who needed it does take a lot of time, effort, and brain power. Magnus cards are also at the core of the battle system. To be perfectly honest, I was unsure about the card battle system when jumping into the game. I had always heard great things about it, but I was still unsure how it would work. Now it is safe to say that it is the best thing about the game. Each character will be able to create a deck with a certain number of cards depending on their class. These cards should be made up of a mix of attack cards, defense cards, and item cards. In battle, you'll be able to choose from several randomly selected cards from your deck. Using the right ones at the right time is crucial for stringing together combos and defending against powerful attacks. What I loved about this system is the mix between luck, preparation, and strategy. For instance, if you're unfortunate enough not to have any attack cards in your hand, you may need to heal, buff, or throw away a defense card on your turn instead. Furthermore, if you have many attack cards showing, you'll be able to unleash huge combos, which is super satisfying. There were many times that I was so close to death because my characters didn't have any healing items in their hand when I really needed them. For this reason, the tides of battle will constantly be shifting based on your current cards, and this is exceptional game design. Other things to consider include elements. Never use light and dark in the same combo, for instance, as the damage output will be significantly reduced. Then there's the card spirit numbers. Stringing together a 4, 5, 6, then 7 for instance will give you a straight for bonus damage. These are quite hard to pull off, especially for characters such as Savinar who have quick attack animations giving you minimal time to analyze your cards on the fly. Not only this, but the actual selection of these spirit numbers through diagonal inputs did not work correctly in this version. In the Gamecube version, yeah, you just tilted the stick to the corresponding corner. The Switch Pro controller, however, doesn't do diagonal inputs the same, yet the spirit numbers are still displayed in the corners. This caused me to constantly select the wrong spirit number, which screwed up many of my combos. With this input issue aside, the mechanics behind this combat is truly worthy of praise, but it does come at a cost. Combat can be an absolute slog. I didn't mind the lengthy 15-minute boss fight so much, but the regular enemy encounters, oh dear. As this is a combo-centric game, you will often have to watch your enemies string together several attack animations for a single attack. When there are multiple enemies attacking in a row, it will sometimes be over a minute before you get another turn. And since many enemies are spongy as hell, these battles take way longer than they should. Now, you can increase the battle speed, but this doesn't work with the nature of the game. 3 times speed, for instance, would make it impossible to select cards for attack combos or defense. When you work through these puzzle-focused dungeons, you will be able to see enemies on screen and you can sometimes dodge them, but these jerks always respawn after you leave the screen. This means that a lot of your precious time will be spent fighting against basic enemies. It is slow, it is grindy, it is time-consuming. Well, it wasn't the original. This HD remaster adds some absolutely crucial additions, such as the ability to turn off regular encounters or the option to activate instant KO mode, which lets you defeat enemies with ease. I'll tell you what, I would have torn my hair out if I had to work through these dungeons fighting through every lengthy encounter, as was the case in the original. I mean, I don't think it would be inaccurate to state that using these features cut around 10 to 15 hours off my playtime. Another feature worth mentioning is creating new Magnus Cards through SP combos, and this system was a bit hit and miss. What I did like about it is that it requires a lot of experimentation. Basically, if you use multiple Magnus in a combo, it will create a brand new type of Magnus. There are 141 different combos to discover, with hints to these combinations being found in the item's description. This is great in theory, but actually trying them out takes way more trouble than it's worth. For instance, to create fruit sorbet, you'll need to use chunks of ice and grapes in the same combo. This requires you to put them into the same deck and hope they show up in your hand for you to use them together in battle. It may take about 5 to 10 random battles for you to actually be able to try that combination out. Another problem is that many Magnus will change over time, such as ice turning into water after 18 minutes of game time. Look, there are loads of different options and I do like what they were trying to do here, but just experimenting with different combos is so time consuming that I basically ignored this feature altogether. Baten Kaitos, Eternal Wings and the Lost Ocean was certainly an experience, and I am really glad that I finally got to see what all of the fuss was about. The game sounds great and is absolutely gorgeous, and now the HD visuals make it look even better than it ever has before. But the number one reason to play this game is the card-based battle mechanics. There are certain unique combat systems over the years that have truly stood the test of time. The Judgment Ring from the Shadow Heart series, the turn-based Gauge from Grandia, and now I can personally add to that, the deck-building card combat from Baten Kaitos. Its mix of deck preparation, luck, and strategy makes it an essential experience for RPG fans. It's just a shame that watching all of the battle animations can make this combat feel like a slog, especially when battling enemy after enemy in the dungeons. My controller's inability to replicate the Gamecube's diagonal inputs also caused me a lot of frustration, and this should never have been the way it is. But thankfully, we do get some great additions in this version that make the lengthy, grindy battles much less tedious. My only other complaint is the removal of the English dubs. I don't care if the originals weren't the best, but I just want the option to use them. Have you played Baten Kaitos yet? Do you agree with what I said? Let me know in the comments below. Also, tell me if the sequel, Baten Kaitos Origins, is worth playing. Is it better or worse than the original? This was Hellfire RPGs. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, hit that like button and sub for more RPG content coming soon. And if you want to support the channel, you can hit that super thanks button. See you next time.